This inside-outside thing always hurts the party in power. We saw it in 2006 when the Republicans lost those midterm elections. We saw it again in 2010, again in 2014. And I think that that's where we are headed. And again in 2018 for the Democrats over the Republicans. But I think that we are again in another wave because people are unsatisfied with who we sent to Washington. You know, America sent Biden and sent the Democrats to Washington, not with a huge mandate, not with a big, overwhelming majority. They listened to what they ran on. They ran on being, things are going to get calm. We're going to return to normal. And Washington, once again, misreads why they were sent and decides that they're just going to spend like a bunch of drunken sailors and, sort of redo our society. And that's why people are upset with Democrats. It's not that they love Republicans again or that they are in love with Republicans. They're just really mad at Democrats.
Yeah. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. When you say inside, outside, you're talking the inside is the elites who are elected and are sitting inside the Beltway. Outsiders are, in this case, parents nationwide, Democrat and Republican, who are saying, you don't have a mandate to shove this kind of stuff down the throats of our kids, to spend on our kids' dime, to pull troops out of Afghanistan in the way that you did. Like, you were not given this blank check to push through these, crazy agenda items that do not reflect our values, whether we have a D or an R after our names.
Yes, this is very independent driven, and it's taking people along with it. It's adding to the coalition, to the party that is out of power, which is the Republicans. And the best thing they could do is not do anything at all in terms of earning these voters. And I think that, one of the things that we sort of miss is just how deaf Washington has become and their negligence on a lot of issues. One of the Afghanistan has had more of an impact than I think anybody really realized. But when that happened in late August, I saw a dramatic shift among suburban independent voters. Mm-hmm. I saw them move away from the Democrats, and they have not moved back. Because it's not because they didn't want America to leave Afghanistan. However, there's a nuance there. Democrat reporters tend to forget to ask the second, third, and fourth question. They do not like how it was done. They believed that it was negligent. They believed that it did not live up to American standards. And they have moved away, and the Democrats have done nothing in a series of successive events to earn them back.
It's so funny because it's like the administration told us that it was handled perfectly. It was incredibly smooth. The withdrawal, okay, people know that's not true. They say this stuff's not being taught in schools. People know that's not true. By the way, Virginia is a very big military state.
Yes.
And so it underscores your inside outside thing because it's like, we already don't trust you. We already think you don't get us. Yeah. We might normally vote for you because we like whatever, your tax policy, or we like Medicare for all, whatever the proposal is. But we don't want to be lied to. And we know what our eyes see and what our ears hear. And the fact that you either don't see it or you do see it and are lying about it creates an even bigger gulf between us. And you might need to be taught a lesson. You might need to be taught a lesson at the ballot box. And even I, as a Democrat, or I, as a left-leaning independent, this is the voters speaking, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to vote for Youngkin, knowing that we have a Biden in the White House, right? We have Democrats are more likely to vote cross-party lines. It works the other way, too, when you've got your party represented at the top level, to teach you that lesson, that you work for me, not the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no different than Republican leaning voters voting against Republicans, even if it was against their own interest in 2018 in those midterms, and or against their own interest in 2020 when voting for president. They aren't as tribal as we are led to believe. The voters are very independent thinking. And all you have to do is look at how much the ballots are split in a lot of states like Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. Let's just take Pennsylvania as an example in 2020. Joe Biden won. Okay, he won narrowly. We forget to say that. More importantly, the state actually became more conservative. 2 of the 3 statewide elected office went to Republicans who had no money and no message, and the Democrats were flush with money, but they won those statewide elections. And if you look down ballot, Republicans were supposed to lose 2 of the 18 congressional or 9 seats that they held. They didn't lose them. They won them. They didn't win them narrowly. They won them handsomely. And in the state House and the state Senate, Republicans were supposed to lose their majorities in both of those houses. Not only did they, first of all, not have any money, and Michael Bloomberg and Eric Holder had all the money, they not only didn't lose a seat, they gained 5 seats. So voters were already sending a message to Washington, but they didn't read it. They said, oh, Joe Biden won. We have a majority. Let's go and do whatever we want.
Yeah.